Live, and I'll invite you when you come in. Hi, this is Jane Hoffman. I'm having two, possibly three guests tonight after a long weekend with family relatives. Once again, Kilgore Abrego Garcia got arrested again, which is causing the American public to really ponder who's in charge federally and who's calling the shots. And also, there's worldwide protests around the world regarding the upsetting fact that so many kids are dying in Gaza. They had um, they had a protest in China, Austria, San Diego, but I think that might have been over the American border. And also, there's new protests on the border because ICE was told that even if they caught like toddlers in the Rio Grande River, that they should throw them back in like fish. So I'm going to start out with this introduction. We're going to just go over some minor facts, and then John is already on the line, and then I'll have Don call. We have to call Don collectively. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was arrested again by Immigration and Customs on August 25th, 2025, after reporting to the Baltimore field office for a mandatory check that's been happening to a lot of people, a mandatory check-in. His detention occurred just days after he was released from federal custody in Tennessee. The specific reasons for this arrest stem from the Trump administration's renewed efforts to deport him to Uganda after he rejected a plea deal. Here is a summary of what has happened. He was mistakenly deported in March of this year to El Salvador and held a prisoner there despite a 2019 court order blocking the deportation to that country. Returned to the U.S. and charged. Following legal challenges in a Supreme Court ruling, the government brought him back to the U.S. in June of 2025. Upon his return, he was immediately indicted on human smuggling charges in Tennessee. These charges were based on 2022, a traffic stop where he was driving with several undocumented workers or passengers, though he has not been charged at the time. So he was stopped, he was with illegals, but he wasn't charged back then. Released from criminal custody. After a federal judge ordered his release, Abrego Garcia was freed from jail in Tennessee August 22nd, 2025, pending his criminal trial scheduled for 2027. So he would have had at least a year and a half reprieve. Rejection of a plea deal. Immediately after his release, immigration authorities informed him of their intention to deport him to Uganda. This followed Abrego Garcia's refusal of a plea deal that was offered that had been offered, in which he would have been deported to Costa Rica in exchange for pleading guilty to the human smuggling charges. Well, in that case, he could have migrated to El Salvador through certain channels, but he turned it down. His latest detention has to do with Garcia was taken into ICE when he reported just yesterday, which was Monday, in Baltimore. This prompted his lawyers to file new legal petition to prevent his deportation. So he's really being sought after the feds. I'm not saying he's targeted because they know where he is, but I don't know what the outcome will be. John, why don't you comment before I call Don?
Okay. Well, I just came back from the Philippines, and I had to leave after 30 days. I couldn't stay longer than that, and so I came back to America because I'm a citizen. He's not a citizen of America. He could have gone back. Actually, all he had to do is just say, I'm going back to El Salvador. And I think they would have let him go, but he didn't want to fight it. He wanted to stay in America illegally, and now he's claiming that he was trying to escape gang persecution. So I guess there's a process for that, but I guess he can, fight and try to have his day in court. He, as far as I understand, if he sent him to Uganda, there's not the same gangs that are in El Salvador. So I guess they're covering that part of the law. He wouldn't speak the language. Well, they speak English there, and they also speak, I think, Swahili. So it'd be kind of like this situation. He's going to a country where it's English is the language, and then there's a second language that people speak there. So
but that's kind of cruel.
I think covers lawyers. I think they want to double down and just make him the fate.
Hi, Pianki. Hi. Wait, John. Pianki's on the phone. Okay. Hi, Pianki. We just covered the details of Kilmar Garcia's in and out of the federal custody, and now he's back in custody. And how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I survived.
I see that.
I lost the election by 57 votes. Were you behind it?
No, I couldn't vote for you.
But you told me you were going to donate to my enemies.
You gave them a good run, didn't you?
I actually only lost to a very well-known guy who's run 9 times, and I only lost by 57 votes, so I did put up a good fight. But it was only the primary, and I only had 2 signs up in Duluth. I didn't sink any money into it. Sorry, John.
You should have greased a few people. That's how you do it, Jane.
Well, I didn't even ask anyone for a donation. It was a self-funded campaign.
Wow.
But anyways, Pianki hasn't been on the air in a long time, and the last time he was on, we fought over something dumb, and then later on we fought over something dumb.
Yeah, some community they say that the signs get up and go to the polls, so maybe you should have put, I don't know, 5 dozen of signs, and maybe you would have pulled off that same stunt I've heard people talk about. But all in all, it's good try, experience well taken.
I got 970 votes, and only about 7,000 people voted. So I got maybe 1 out of every 7 votes or 1 out of every 8 votes. So John's on the air, and he knows a lot about Kilmar Garcia. John, I will let you finish, but Pianki, what's your take on this guy?
No more than what I've heard in news. I think you need to get the hell out of America.
Well, by going to Uganda, I think that's cruel punishment. I think he should have taken the plea deal to go back to Costa Rica, a very pleasant country compared to El Salvador.
Yeah, well, sometimes people make terrible choices that have harsh consequences.
Should we call Don now before we dip into a new subject, or should I let John?
Let's bring him in. You should have run on a like you don't want the National Guard or the ICE and you should have like a free Kilmar shirts on.
It was a school board race. It was local government.
That's okay. You have to, that's how you do it, Jane.
Duluth schools are still into DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Right.
So I'm going to call Don and then we're all going to talk. Just 1 second, okay? Okay, Don's on the air with all three of us now.
Alrighty.
Don, it's you, me, Pianki, and John.
Hi, Pianki.
Say-
Hi, John.
Hey, Don, hey, I'm wondering, I got a bet. Who's going to get deleted, muted, or censored or banned tonight first? Is it going to be me or Pianki or you?
Let's see. Black Power. Okay, it's going to be me.
Pianki, are you still on the air? You didn't say hi. Pianki, I gotta double check if he's on the air now. Just a minute.
He knows his place on James' place.
Yeah, he's still on. So John's gonna finish his comment on Kilmar Garcia, and then I'm gonna make an alternative plan for the U.S. ICE.
Wow. Well, to kind of briefly summarize what I think is that it's twofold. I mean, I just traveled to another country and came back from the Philippines, and the bottom line is going into that country, they check you in and out of everything, like stores. You walk in, you got a bag, they pull it to the side. They don't play. They have heat. You go to the airport. You pray to God. I was on a bus that we were flying out of Philippines heading back to the U.S. and we went to Taiwan. So we were supposed to land in Taipei, and there was a typhoon. So they diverted us. We were getting locked. And so we stopped. They went to a lower airport, like lower part of the island, and we had to go 4-hour bus back. So on the way, I was talking to a guy, befriended him. We're chatting, and something of his fell on underneath the seat. So I bent underneath there to get it for him, and my passport, I put it on the seat, right? So I get his thing, and then we continue chatting, and anyway, we get off the bus. It's time to go into the airport. I'm looking for my passport. It's like, oh, man, where's my passport? And I'm looking all over. I'm looking on the ground. I'm looking on the seat. I'm looking in my pockets, bag, everything, right? And I'm like, and when we got off the bus, I'm like, I can't find my passport. I'm thinking this is going to be a wonderful story, and then he thought about it. So I go back in the bus. And I'm looking everywhere. He came in the bus. He said, oh, I'm sorry. He picked it up. He thought it was his. But the point is, without that passport, I'm not going back. I'm not getting on an airplane. They're going to pull me aside, and that's it. There's no negotiation. There's no, John's a nice guy, or he's got a girlfriend, and she's pregnant, or, he works, and he's really, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, no passport, no reentry, no exit in, no exit out. And it's like, they have a special room for you if at Homeland Security. So in this situation, cut and dried is, he didn't produce a passport or ID and come in legally. He needs to go. Now, on the flip side, it's not fair to the degree that we've let millions of people across the border. And
you should have stuffed it in your pants.
Like letting people, run through a red light for years, and then suddenly one day the cops are going, hey, it's a ticket, and we're going to haul your butt into prison. So I think or jail. I think the problem is they're making an issue of him because they want to enforce the law that should have been done, and the other side, the liberal side, is saying we want to make an issue of this, that we don't, that it should be fair that everyone else is the clamping down and everyone's been here and allowed to do this. So it's a hill that both sides are going to die on. Well, in his case, he's going to die on that hill, I think. And the Trump administration, they're going to push this city to city and make a stand here. So half the country loves this, and the other half hates it. I mean, that's my view on it. What do you think, Don?
Extra attention. We've got new passport ball holders. Put them by your balls and they'll keep them there all the time. You've been across the country, the world before. The main thing is you cannot let go of your passport. You cannot get it out of your sight, off your body. There's no way when I go overseas. But you know, I'm a penultimate. Problem child. I guess you call it that. Only because when I go overseas, I'm the arrogant Black American. So it's like, okay, I got 3 countries that I can't go to anymore, or at least one of them might have been long enough for it. But your passport is number one because there are pickpockets everywhere. You can't trust anyone. That guy you were talking with, I'm surprised you didn't end the story saying he had it.
Well, you know what had happened is that it started out in the airport in Cebu City, Philippines, and the deal was he's an older guy, 76, and he's lived in he's a white guy, and he has a wife he got in the Philippines, and he was a cool dude. The point is, I held his spot for him at the airport because they pulled him twice out of the line because he had in his luggage like a empty vape dispenser, and I think he also wanted to bring cigarettes or tobacco. So he kept getting pulled out, and another time he had to go to the bathroom. And I held his luggage for him, and then all along the way with all these things, we were in different parts of the airplane, and we kept ending up at the same place together. Like, okay, because they diverted us on the bus, we had to go to special lines, and it was all on the fly. Like nothing was planned. So suddenly we're like these special hostages. So we had like 6 hours of like bonding and talking and helping each other out. So it was kind of. And that's part of the reason, when you picked up my passport, it wasn't like a stranger. Like there was discomfort. Like I was reaching under the seat to get his drink that his bottle he couldn't reach. So it wasn't like the normal situation. Like don't trust anyone. But it is funny because if he hadn't checked his pockets, I don't know, I'd probably still be in the Philippines applying to get my special passport, clearance. I don't know. I'd be Abrego.
God was looking over you. Good job.
Yeah.
But anyway, so cool story. That was your most important story on your entire trip. You didn't meet anyone. You didn't have any events. The world didn't come to an end just because you started to fight somebody to turn to World War VI.
Well, we covered the Philippines on the last show, so we all have to take turns. And I'm glad you used the analogy, but Pianki, can we find out what Pianki's been doing?
I thought you already tried. Hey, Pianki.
Hello, John. How you doing?
Hi, good. I've been looking at your nephew, and he's going to be a really good player with yours.
Yeah, he's got a lot of enthusiasm, like his father.
What year is he?
Pardon me?
What was that?
What year in college is he?
He plays. He's signed with the Cleveland. I think he played with the Cleveland Browns. I'm not sure. Wow.
I think it's the Chicago Bears.
Oh, Chicago. Okay, I can't keep up. How big is he? Like is he like 6'4", 250, or does he play? No, he's a wide receiver.
So he's about 6'4", 220. 25, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I don't think he weighs that much.
Okay. 215.
My grandson's doing very well. He's working on oil and gas petroleum project. Just left Arizona, and now he's headed over to a project in Abilene, Texas.
I thought it was your grandson who was in the NFL.
No, that's not a nephew.
Oh, okay. So we can all talk. It's just that I want everybody to talk in intervals. So I was just up by Canada at the Chattahoochee State Park, and Congressman Pete Stauber wants to do multi-mining up here in the boundary waters that don't even allow boats with motors. And the Trump administration is initiating it, but also there's a lot of ex-military and ex-police officers on Instagram that are criticizing the Trump administration on how they're going into cities and trying to regulate police conduct or try to be the police. And maybe we should cover that for a few minutes.
Well, it's a big deal in Washington, D.C. There's a guy that worked for Elon Musk and under Doge. His nickname was Big Balls, and they made a big thing about it. And about maybe, I don't know, a week or two ago, someone was carjacking in D.C. I guess he was still working in there. I thought they'd all left, but he was there, and a lady was getting carjacked. He jumped in to try and save her. And there's a group, I don't know if it was more than 2 or 3 people, like 5 or 6 guys, and they beat the crap out of him, gave him a concussion. And I think that gave the impetus for Trump to say, we're just, he's looking for that opportunity. Like, I'm going to show you what a sheriff will do. And he basically, brought in, federal help to just police Washington, D.C. in the last week and a half there, in 12 days, no murders. Crime's gone down basically in half. I mean, certain things, carjacking's down 83%. Some other crimes down 20%. But across the board, it just cut it in half. And people are now, several people, they're going out like date nights. They're going out they wear their jewelry. They take their wives. And it's just, there's a different attitude because, I don't know every block, but certainly within 30 seconds, there's National Guard. So people are walking out and just saying, listen, if I have a problem, I can yell out and someone's going to be there, within seconds. And just the presence. Now, some people on the liberal side are saying, or the lefties are saying, this is Gestapo, it's fascism. It's like we didn't ask for this. But Trump is doing. You don't rip off at the store because there's a guy right there. They check everything in and out, and I mean, to a certain degree, you go, hey, we're not going to rip off anyone. So it's an interesting. Trump's going to use this as okay, next stop Chicago, and maybe after.
And the Chicago mayor told them, stay away, get out.
The biggest problem would be kind of like LA because there's such a presence to protest. But basically, what he's showing them is, listen, I shut down the border. You can stop crime. It's really easy. Just get the right presence there, and then problem solved. And the resistance on the other side is saying we don't want anything Trump they're not going to like. But the point is they're saying it's fascism and it's the end of democracy. That's their angle.
Well, the only question I have is, when you look at the budget of Washington, D.C. police, and the utilized resources are being done in the best way possible, but they're still not effective, what is the negative cause? And even when I interviewed for a job in 1982 in D.C., the crime was bad. The crime's always been bad there. It's never been good.
Well, I guess it's interesting because it highlights, if we're getting crime reduced and people aren't killing each other, why are people getting upset? And they're not arresting you for being a citizen or even protesting or whatever you want to do. People are protesting. They're not arresting. Go ahead.
Nobody on our side is getting upset. Everybody who understands the American way of life knows that having beautiful streets, just like Trump says, and having safe places that we can go is the American way. Everybody wants that. So, you know.
Well,
But Chicago
you haven't
doesn't.
read the news. Don, maybe the internet doesn't work where you're at, but I can tell you the mayor of Chicago, the governor of Chicago, of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker,
Don is not on the internet.
and the mayor of Chicago is saying we don't want it, we don't need it, stay away, it's safe. They're saying this is Chicago. It's safe here. Same thing with Baltimore. Same thing with all these cities. These lefty lib mayors are saying we don't want you to come here. We've got it under control. So do you see that contradiction? Just because it's Trump, they can't. They're losing it.
Well, Chicago has its.
They're losing it anyway when you have a Muslim mayor who can beat, winning.
And so hard. Yeah.
So what are we talking about? Pritzker said, I don't know if he said what you said, but he said that we'd rather have crime than what Trump is.
What Pritzker wants is to be able to build luxury hotels along the beach there in Gaza. And that's one of his ambitions.
They're still dying. Go ahead, Pianki.
That's one of his ambitions. In the U.S., that's Pritzker. Trump is not Trump's ambition.
Trump wants to join the Israelis to take part of Gaza.
Well, what Trump is doing now, American citizens have a right to be protected.
Right.
You take Chicago, when you have from 2020 to May of 2020 to May of 2023, you had 15,488 blacks shot by other blacks and 2,409 murdered. Can't nobody say that that's just outrageous. And quite natural crime would go down, especially when you don't shot every goddamn body. People ain't gonna go out on the streets.
Correct. And that's why
I think
what's going on, except for it may be illegal to bring the National Guard in to some of these cities in peaceful times. That's the problem. But
with D.C., it's a federal city, so Trump has jurisdiction to do that. Now, the other cities, he's going to have a legal fight. He's going to have a legal fight.
D.C. is different. Correct.
Yeah.
Well, Chicago, you remember the pictures we used to see of Gail Sayers when he was in the National Guard, the Illinois National Guard, when they had riots in Chicago and he's carrying his rifle? There's nothing wrong with it. The thing is that all those 15,000 blacks that were shot, or people that were shot, the police, a regular police department cannot handle that type of a load. You've got crimes have not been solved. So if you bring in a National Guard that can patrol the streets, that will give the local police an opportunity to put more of their expenditures and forces into solving those crimes, that's good. If not, the crimes will never go solved.
Well, I don't know if you've seen in the news, but Gavin Newsom's been very vocal. He put out videos, and he's basically declaring war on Donald Trump. He's saying, "Listen, we're going to redistrict thing, and in California, we're going to stop fascism. We're going to stop Donald Trump and what he's doing." And he's actually, as far as what I'm hearing, is that they are offering this land to developers, especially Chinese developers, to in the Palisades. And Karen Bass, I don't know if we all had seen this, but when Trump visited within a week or so after Palisades, he had a big meeting with everyone, and Karen Bass said, we're going to green light a lot of things and let people start rebuilding and get things going. And Trump said, when? So very soon he said, like today. tomorrow or within the week. And she said, oh, okay, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And it's been now, I think they've given 5 permits, or 50. I'm sorry, 50. There's like 50,000 people displaced, and 50 people have been approved. This is 7 months later. Now, at the time, she said, well, we're gonna do. He said, you need to do it right now, and you need to let the people who want to rebuild instead of waiting months for EPA and environmental this and that red tape. They're ready on their own land to just start cleaning things up, throw it in a dumpster, and get it out of here. Do it, like you have the power, make it happen. And she said, "Oh, okay, let's do that." And then 7 months later, song and dance. This is Karen Bass at her best. And Gavin Newsom, he's like, I'm on the phone with the president. Miss Lacey, can I talk to her right now? Because I want to talk to Biden at the time. He said, oh, you know what? I'm having a connection problem, but I've called 5 or 6 times. He's like, will you let me know for sure? Can you dial him right now? And he's like, oh, we've got a lot of things. I got to go. And that's Gavin Newsom for you. But I guess he's getting ready to run for president.
Well, he's putting a big proposition together, and one of his biggest supporters, Harry Sisson, on Instagram, is promoting people to donate to that prop so they can.
Do you like the job that Gavin's done as governor and Karen Bass as mayor of LA?
I haven't followed. I've only followed Gavin a little because he's been more in the spotlight, but he's trying to prevent any Republican infiltration into gerrymandering and redistricting. And he said, if they're going to play a game like that in Texas, we're going to redistrict ours to our Democratic favor.
Well, they haven't. I vote Republican, and since the 80s, when I start first, actually the late 70s, early 80s, I could start voting, and my vote has never counted. Every time before I show up outside of Ronald Reagan, every time I get ready to vote, it's already been decided. They've already announced the winner. It's in California, and so the question is,
should I feel sorry for you?
Nah, it's okay. But the point is, with allowing millions of people to come in the country that aren't citizens and wanting mail-in vote, do you think that they've already done the work to make California a democratic?
I don't think that illegals. I don't think illegals vote. Resident.
You realize anyone who entered in the 80s? That's 30 years ago.
Well, maybe they're citizens now.
What I'm saying is their children, anyone who's had kids in the 80s, they're 30 years old. In the 90s, they're 20-something.
Well, a lot of those kids have been, they became American citizens since they came in here. So
right. All I'm saying is they're allowed. That's what I'm saying. I'm not arguing. What I'm saying is that we're allowing millions of people that are going to have benefits, and they're having kids, and these kids within 10 to 20 years, like if a 10-year-old comes over here or a 12-year-old kid, in 6 years, they're voting. If they go through the process.
If they're legal, they are.
The thing.
Yeah, when they have a kid, and in 20 years, they have kids voting, or 18 years.
Well, there's a lot of Hispanic Republicans, too. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, Jane, the thing is that people should do things the way that the law requires. Now, if California want to let illegals vote state and local, that's perfectly fine. The states have control over the electoral process in their state, but they cannot vote federally. As simple as that. It shouldn't be. That's why it needs to be dual ballot. You should have a ballot with state and local candidates and state and local issues, and then you should have a federal ballot with federal candidates on that ballot, where people that's illegally in the United States cannot vote federally.
I agree with that to a certain extent. Now, I'm not going to comment on something I haven't researched, and I haven't lived in California for 12 years. But California is over 70% Democrat in most elections. So I don't know what the odds were, even if the people that John doesn't like would vote for them.
Well, the question is so everyone is Democrat in California.
No, I didn't say that. I said
Orange County.
I said over 70% are of the voters
well,
are.
In the LA, right, in the big city, and that's how you run into LA, New York, Chicago, Seattle. You have a lot of liberal left, but the point is the majority of America going across and state-wise is not Democrat, and
I know that
that's the issue. Do we want 3 or 4 cities to determine the whole country? I guess
all I know. Okay, I'll just answer to you this way. There's been a lot of upheaval in the last year and a half with politics. A lot of people who supported Trump, federal workers, have now lost their job and they're against him, American born or not. A lot of veterans, U.S. veterans, are against him. And a lot of the whole agricultural industry changed in California because of Trump's desire to keep getting rid of illegals. So I still don't. I think there's a strong Democratic base in California. There's a few pockets of Republicans in places like Orange County, but I don't think they're anywhere near the majority.
Those are interesting numbers, Jane. So what you're saying?
I'm just throwing some stuff. I think it's a waste of your time to argue with me.
Are you getting?
Because you're the one who said it was a waste of your own time to vote.
I was asking you a question. Are you ready to delete and ban and throw me off? Are you triggering? When I'm just asking you a question.
You're triggering me.
Are we not talking? This is a political talk show.
I haven't done anything, and furthermore, I can't hang up on you. Guess why?
She's an independent. She's not even a Democrat, John. Leave her alone.
And also, there's 4 people. The only thing I can do is take you off speaker. I can't even hang up on you.
Wait, but the point is, you're raising your voice. You're getting upset, and
I'm telling you what my feelings are. I don't think, even if Gavin Newsom gerrymanders and changes the redistricting a little, there's 35. California is the most populous state in the nation. There's 35 million.
They should determine.
All right, let me finish. Let me finish. There's 35 million people in California. Maybe 20 million are over 18. I'm just guessing. The vast majority of Californians are Democrats. I'm sure there's more conservatives now since part of the state became difficult to live in after COVID, after jobs changed and housing changed. And there was, like in Minnesota, you have 5,000 jobs to pick from in a city of 84,000. That's not the case in California. It's competitive. So I still think, unless things are really bad, I don't think any Republican, except for a few congressmen, have a chance of winning.
So
I'm gonna comment on the government workers. That's just going to happen. Technology, innovation does kill jobs. And people that was doing something like back there in the days of computer key punch cards, or the advent of the PC and modernization of computer mainstream, put a lot of people out of work. They had to go learn how to do something else. We know that the government has been used as a nepotism cesspool.
You're darn right.
You got a lot of repetitive performances that's going on when you only need one.
Elon Musk purged too many jobs. He purged too many IRS jobs that they're now reclaiming. He purged too many national park jobs. He purged 80,000 jobs in the Department of Veteran Affairs. People know where the excess lies.
Well, I know you talk about national parks. Those are state parks.
No, a lot of
States should
them are
take back their
federal.
land. States should take back their land, reclaim their land, and hire who they want to, rather than leading it up to the federal government. Federal government is doing a lot of things that's not called and spelled out in the U.S. Constitution, which basically is only 3 things when you lay it on the table.
All I'm saying, I didn't even bring this subject up. All I'm saying is that I told you what Gavin Newsom is planning to do, how Harry Sisson is supporting him, and let's see if the money rolls in. I don't know. It's not even, we're not even close to it. We're over a year from another election. So we'll find out in the future, won't we?
Well, one other thing I want to add real quick. I heard talks around here in Louisiana that Gavin Newsom want to play around with the politics and stacking his state legislature one way or the other. Red states can do the same thing. And there's talks about boycotting California produce and vegetables and turning to states like Florida. So there's a lot of talk going on.
Well, that's kind of strange because over in Europe regarding the war, now I know more about that. There's people buying bread from the Ukraine in China, but they're also buying stuff from Russia. And California is the largest fruit and vegetable producing state. So anyone who's going to turn that down because of politics is plain not thinking straight.
And you
Well, that's what they do.
The world eats our produce, right? Nobody eats our food.
All I know is that there's some countries that will buy from Russia only because Russia has reduced the price in oil. Now, over here, I don't think Americans are going to fight that bitterly against each other. I don't know why the Republicans are even creating such a difficult battle if they're so self-assured that they're going to win in 2026. What are they scared of?
Well, Democrats, and John, you can test this, the Democrats like to put people in their mix. For instance, like blacks. They look at blacks as being a natural, you must vote Democrat individual, and that's just not true. Here in Louisiana, you had a federal judge that said that you have to create a second black, all black voting district. Well, just listening to that is really, really ridiculous. All black voting district, as if blacks only vote for Democrats? That's a bunch of bull crap.
I think Don could answer that better, being that him and his wife are top people in the NAACP now. Don, what do you have to say?
Well, we are bipartisan for the NAACP, so I want to make that clear. But with everything going on, people have to respect everybody's position. Nobody knows where anything is at right now. Nobody knows anything. When we have Taco Trump always changing, pushing things up 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months, we are off balance. Americans don't know where they're coming or going.
Well, they know the Republicans are supporting Trump's agenda.
They're not. They're saying they are. But
well, they're voting. They voted for the BBB.
There are no Republicans. Okay, try to get a hold of your Republican representative and whatever, and talk to them and have them explain anything to you. They will not answer your phone call.
Well, I'm friends with a cop who's the brother of the congressman.
That doesn't mean anything. You might be a Democrat.
No.
John, I had Cleo Fields in Louisiana.
They have a gag order. They cannot talk to anyone except for the representatives. Go ahead.
Yeah, Cleo Fields in Louisiana, he never answered his telephone. I tried, and I got a log of attempts to call him, and I had to go around him just to get a box of pocket-sized constitutions that we use in our COS work to pass out. We don't want to talk. And all they want to do is get to the big house so they can become congresspersons. Then Lord knows what goes on beyond that. And it's simple. Blacks just vote Democrat, the majority of them. Now it's getting you starting to get away with that with the better education of people from that particular group, young people from that particular group. But up until then, you talk about gerrymandering, stacking, and packing. That was a common thing in some of those Democratic wards around your urban areas. I agree.
Chicago did it in the 60s when Mayor Daley was in charge. He helped John Kennedy get into office.
Wow. Well, I'd like to say two things, and I know, because I'm saying it calmly, and I'm not throwing any attitude, I'm going to just get booted and deleted because I'm so controversial. But two things. One is, you mentioned, Jane, the government workers don't like Trump, and the farmers don't like Trump, and everybody doesn't like Trump. He's so unpopular. So the point is, Democrat Party is half as popular as the lowest ratings in 30 some years. They're literally under like 20% favorability or trust, 25 tops. And the Republican Party is way above that. Trump confidence is way. When we talk about accessibility, Trump is talking every day. You know, just a week ago, he had all the leaders of the free world, the European, there. You know, like I think that UK is, you know, he's got the France, Macron. He's got all these people gathered around, and they're talking about peace. And people like Biden, that never happened. You never had all these leaders
Stick to one topic. Are you talking
What?
national politics or European?
I'm talking with Ukraine. They had a meeting with Putin, and they're all bagging on, oh, he's the puppet now, and he's giving away, giving all this stuff. Biden never met with Putin. Never got all these leaders talking. They're talking peace, and just as he's, you know, and who knows what's going to happen. But the point is, he's gone to different countries, and with Pakistan and India said stop fighting. He's gone to, you know, Congo or Rwanda, said stop fighting. He's gone to Abrego. There's like 5 or 6 of these where he said stop doing this, and like they stopped. Was he the total instigator? No. But did he leverage? Sure. Like, listen, less terrorists if you stop fighting, you know, and the money talks. But the point is, he's getting these people talking where no one was talking before. He's not starting fights. He's like, let's stop this. He doesn't like war, and that's very evident. And for some reason, that's a very unpopular thing among people. Like, we want wars and we want to make money off of it.
Okay,
So,
I have to interrupt you a minute. Trump's approval rate.
Everything in life, John.
Trump's approval rating is 41%. 56% are opposed to him. Democrats' favorable rating is 49%, and Republicans right now are 41%. Joe Biden had an approval rating of 43% his first year in office, and Trump has 42% in that poll. So there's not hardly any difference.
Oh, so you're saying people trust the work? You know, Joe Biden didn't have a press conference the last year.
I'm telling you, his first year in
Trump talks every day.
I'm telling you what the approval rating was the same for Trump and for Biden.
Okay, so just for the record, you're saying the Democratic Party is more popular than Trump right now. That's what you're saying. The Democratic Party.
No, I didn't compare that. I compared the. You're not listening. The Democratic Party is 49% popularity. The Republican Party is 41%. I didn't say the word Trump.
Last month on MSNBC, they said it's the lowest rating ever. They trashed it. CNN says it's terrible. The leader
Who cares?
Saying, listen, we got
Is that all you're ever going to talk about the rest of your life? Is Republicans versus Democrat? Don't you have anything bigger in your arsenal? Like, I looked up a topic tonight. Don wanted to know how many kids died from us cutting off U.S. aid. Over 232,000 kids have died worldwide.
Well, U.S. aid was being used in the wrong way. And I'm getting sick and tired of the United States taking care of the world. The thing is,
exactly what I'm saying about him going across the Europe and having everybody says take care of America first, and he ain't doing shit for America.
He's arresting them.
My grandson wouldn't have a job based on Joe Biden's policies toward the oil industry. He wouldn't have a job.
Why is that?
You're saying the American economy the American economy tanked, even though we set a all-time record last week. You're saying that the whole world is World War III. It's all going to blow up when he's actually got cut like Iran. Anyone talking about Iran? How dangerous they are as a threat? Didn't he shut that down? Didn't he shut down the border? Isn't the border shut down?
Basically, it's the thing. For instance, here in Louisiana, with the terrorists, Hyundai Motors decided to build a plant in southwest Louisiana. They're in Ascension Parish. Their investors like $17.8 billion in a steel plant to make components for building their cars, and another $20 billion. Now, this plant is going to be in Ascension Parish, where a city by the name of Donaldsonville, which is 80% black. Blacks will have an opportunity to make betterment on their lives. They're going to need 14,000 workers. The average salary is going to be around $95,000. And community college is switching over with its curriculum to provide students
and they have
these skills that they need in order to operate in those plants. That's a good thing.
And that's fine, but they haven't even dug one chunk of dirt out of the ground yet.
Well, California hasn't started the speed bullet train after $2 billion. But here's the thing: 70,000 monks broke a vow of silence to nominate Donald Trump for Nobel Peace Prize, and it's the Prime Minister of Cambodia.
And I did follow up on that. There was only a ceasefire for 5 days. Only 5 days.
They nominated 70,000 monks nominated Donald Trump for Nobel Peace Prize.
And they don't hold any political power.
The president or the prime minister, he said, I nominate Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. And you said that's a bad thing, right? You don't like that.
No one said anything about it. He stopped a war for 5 days. They can do it if they want. It's not. Maybe that's their perspective.
You don't have control over doing it.
That was.
I understand what you're saying.
It was for.
You're saying everyone hates them, and they nominate him for Nobel Peace Prize.
It was 70 monks.
Award. He hasn't done anything for America, but still have people lose jobs and increase the price of food.
Cutting off 3 million people a year doesn't help American workers and people who want to get a job. You're saying that's bad for America.
The president don't have anything to do.
That's good for America, but he's not taking care of America. He's taking care of the rest of the world, and you're blind.
You yourself, you and your wife is going to benefit. He raised the standardized deduction to $30,000. But those that's over 65, hang on, those that's over 65 will get another $6,000.
I heard there's not going to be a stimulus check this year. I already checked.
Well, I don't want no stimulus checks. I want my tax money to stay in my pocket. And also, look what you're doing with taxes as it applies to equipment. A person in the business of having to use heavy equipment and spending, say, $3 million for a crane like they do in my industry, you can expense that off in 1 year rather than carrying it out 20 years like Democrat policies required. That's a
right. And you're right about it. It's going to benefit us. It always does when a Republican is in office. We make more money. Yes, that's a fact.
Well, here's a question though. So Trump,
because John changed his lifestyle 20 times a year, and then next thing you know, nobody can know anything.
So Trumpy, he stops the border. So the border's cool. He's going to cities and shutting down crime. And you said he didn't do anything for America. Well, people in Washington D.C., there's 2 weeks of no one died in D.C. I think that benefited at least one person at least not dying.
They took away business from the hospitals, from the police, from the coroner's office. It's taking away money from taxes because they don't need police. They have not worked enough. These folks are.
They need more crime to work. Of course. Obviously, Donald Trump started the country by stopping crime. But here's the question.
They run off of fines and fees. They don't run off of being nice.
If he stops Ukraine and Russia from fighting, are you also going to say that's terrible because we're not going to sell more arms? And the casket-making people, they're going to go out of business. He's destroying the world. Would you at some point say, hey, he's really good for the planet?
I don't think he can stop it alone.
That's not the question.
He's bullying the wall.
You keep saying that, and he has.
If he does it, you said he can't. I said if he does it.
But he hasn't done it yet. It's up to Russia and the Ukraine.
The question is, before you delete, is if he gets world peace with Ukraine and Russia, and they no longer kill each other, has he not helped the planet greatly and stopped World War III? And you're going to go, he hasn't done it. No, that's the point. If he did, you can't just say, yeah, it's a good thing. He's a cool dude. He stops people killing. That's all he does. He stops wars. He fixes economies. He gets everyone paying. See, you can't admit that. That's derangement syndrome. If Biden did it, I'd say, man, that's a cool dude. He stopped the war.
Well, he hasn't stopped the war.
He stopped them to talk. Guess who Putin invaded under Obama and under Biden. He didn't start the war. It doesn't matter if it's old news. No, because Biden was president up until 6 months ago. Why didn't Obama or Biden get them to meet and talk and do something?
I'm reading an excerpt, okay, guys? I'm reading an excerpt from an article that might clear things up. In California, crops have gone unharvested. Farm workers stay home out of fear of immigration raids. In Wisconsin alone, there were 8 farms that had to shut down this year because they lost their workers. Internal Revenue Service have been fighting over desks because remote workers were forced to come back to work. Tariffs are putting the brakes on hiring. President Trump won a second term with a promise to support the working class voters who backed him, but many workers now feel less secure and find their jobs harder to do, squeezed by immigration crackdowns, federal layoffs, and funding cuts, and weakened labor protections. The uncertainty fueled by these policies, combined with Trump's trade wars, is beginning to surface economic data, and the economic community is saying that July jobs report, which shows the country had undergone the weakest 3 months of job growth since the pandemic, was so alarming to Trump that he took an unprecedented step of firing the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the agency that compiled and released the data. I'll stop there.
No, I love it because, and I've always said that that's why I like Trump, because he's going to destroy everything. And that'll give us a chance to, especially as minority, black, African Americans, finally wield our power. Pianki, you can join us. You're one of us. So, Biden don't admit it.
Right. So
Eventually we'll-
let's
yeah.
get this straight. Trump has destroyed the economy. He's destroyed the world. He's blown up everything. Right. It's all over for you and me.
3,000 arrests of illegals a day, and he can't even do 30. And this is something that is problematic. He's promised all this money from the tariffs, and right now he's only going to get a net of 250 million out of 2 trillion, be 2.5 trillion because the reciprocal tariffs. So there's not going to be enough for him to, like Jane just said, not give us the stimulus checks, which Pianki will sign over to me, of course. But the stimulus checks, and he won't be able to give us as much of a tax break. And, you know, as he thought he was going to be able to give everybody. That he's right now struggling.
I heard he didn't win the election and he cheated. I heard he rigged the whole election and that he faked getting shot and all of that. I hear that he doesn't even exist.
That's some stupid white people shit. He said, you know, you got 5 different Trumps. So any one of them could have been the one that got shot.
Right. I knew it.
The whole thing is
Gavin Newsom is the face of saying he's going to do to America what he did for San Francisco and LA.
we're not necessarily.
California is broke. San Francisco broke. But the thing is, they are broke, and
they're not.
Really against.
They're the 5th largest economy in the world.
They're not against National Guard. What they want is the money so that they can apply it how they want to apply it to fight crime. And then we know what happens when that goes on. I mean, I wouldn't give a dime.
Karen Bass.
California
Karen Bass is ridiculous.
California donates $80 billion to the federal government every year. They're the largest contributing state to the feds. Kentucky is lucky if they can contribute $1 million to the feds. So Trump better watch whose feet he's stepping on.
Wow. Have you thought of moving out to California and paying rent out here in LA?
No, I'm going to Tempe, Arizona to look for my cookie.
I thought California was really a great place to live.
You know what? When I'm 65, I'm turning 65 soon. I'm not going back and fighting that many people in an urban setting just to get to work and back.
California, they're moving from out there. I wouldn't vote for Newsom under no circumstance.
Neither would
I was supposed to marry Pianki, but he broke it off.
Oh, is that why he left the show for so long?
I do want to spend 3 months in another state though during the Minnesota winter.
Well, if you find a job somewhere, you stay anywhere you want.
And by the way, Phoenix had a sandstorm today, and they had a wall of sand.
It was yesterday.
And I'm scared for my son and my son's uncle.
Oh, he'll be okay. By the way, is RFK making America healthy again?
I hear mixed reviews.
Well, not when the measles outbreak after 40 years, 50 years is coming back. But he got the right idea. You want, the big thing is eating is your number one health. The reason for being a human. And we're eating too much junk. Everything is plastic in it. But if you eat healthy, take those dyes out, trans fats, they do nothing to kill you. They build up slowly, and the next thing you know, you got lung cancer and don't know how you got it. It's because the asbestos in your house was broken.
He posted a workout challenge like it's 50 pull-ups and 100 push-ups in 10 minutes. And if you can do 5, that's even better. But he did it in 5 minutes and 38 seconds, and Hexap did it in 5 minutes 23 seconds. They actually were beaten by a girl.
Who did?
RK. He did the 5 minute. It's a 10-minute challenge, but he did it in about 5 minutes 43. And Hexap did it in 5 minutes 23. But they got beat by a gal with this, like, you know, she was very buff. She did it in 340 something. But then there was the top one was a guy in the unit, and he did it like in 2.5 minutes. But the question is, I heard a rumor that secretly Pat was voting for Trump. I don't know. Is that true?
No.
Why would you hear that when you're not even her Facebook friend?
I just, I wanted to get to the bottom of it.
I heard a rumor that John's ex-girlfriend is collecting food stamps.
Oh, that I didn't know. Wow. Yeah, she calls occasionally. I don't answer, but
I'm just picking on you. Anyway, so I have a question for you guys. I think it's kind of a wait and see thing. Like, I don't think. Did you know Russia was bombing a Ukrainian city while him and Trump were meeting in Alaska? I don't think that Putin is serious, and about ending the war.
He's crazy. He's nuts. Dave, you don't fuck with stupid. He can't. You're up there trying to analyze this bullshit. All these motherfuckers, Trump, that inner breeding will fuck with you, especially when your dad is a supplier. He's all about Nazi. He's all about
they can change. Cracker Barrel changed their logo, so I mean, change can happen.
My friend Billy. My friend Billy Brooke was upset about that. Was that a white man sitting by the barrels or a black man?
I think he's an orange man.
No, in the Cracker Barrel logo, there's a man sitting by barrels. I couldn't tell if he was white or black.
What does that got to do with the tea in China if it is a black man?
Because
when you look at the
my friend Billy.
I was just arguing. Well, let me say this.
Okay.
When you look at the academic performance of black kids, black students, they are even below the bottom. How do you pull off in a high school like East St. Louis, where the math performance is less than 1%? Good gracious alive. You have to go around with a metal detector to find those that's a little bit less than 1%.
I witnessed it myself in a middle school in Duluth. A lot of African American kids don't want to try at all. They're disenfranchised with the system.
Systemic racism?
No, I just don't think they care. They feel overwhelmed. They don't feel supported. They don't want to try. Maybe their parents aren't. They're not. The parents are at home aren't telling them to try harder. I don't know the reason.
That's true, because a lot of them, they don't have electricity.
No, in Minnesota they do.
No, listen. So they have to read by candlelight, and it's very difficult. And then,
all that stuff is nothing more than excuses. That's all it is.
I got to get water.
My child should not have to be forced to attend those educational environments, and that's what they want to do. You got some pundits amongst black population that's basically trying to create a separate black nation. It ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. Let those parents put their child where they want them to be. I don't care how poor a household is. You still have some parents that try to do the best that they can, and they are performing very well. But you can't put a good apple in a basket full of rotten apples and expect a miracle.
Yeah, but if you go to Africa, there's plenty of these big, massive cities with tall buildings and high technology. And you go to Uganda, you go to Zimbabwe.
Lagos.
They've got super modern structures you've never seen. We can't even approach their technology because the superior, I don't know what you want to call it, but when you get the black mind, focused and united, and you get everyone on the continent speaking the same language and going in the same direction, they put us to shame. I mean, I hate to tell you that. It's just like it's the envy of the world.
I'll tell you forever, John. Bigger, faster, smarter, stronger.
3M Corporation has a headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria.
I knew it. I was thinking of going over there just so I could, live the lifestyle. It's very, but going to Putin just so because I don't want to lose this point. I looked up a little bit of info on it yesterday, and like I guess 90s, I believe, with Gorbachev and Reagan and all this stuff, going from I'm going late 80s into the 90s. The deal with Germany was no NATO advancement towards Russia. That was the deal. It's like, okay, you do that, you promise that, not 1 foot, not 1 inch. I will, we'll let the wall go. And so we said, yeah, deal. And then since then, we funded a lot of hanky panky. And if you look at the map, it's actually we've slid all the way towards Russia, with Czechoslovakia and all these little different countries, and they're trying to put these countries into NATO, and then here you got Ukraine right on the border of Russia. I mean, it's part of Russia, and it's like we want to put them in NATO so that way we can put them in, put nukes in there and put defense. I have to say, as crazy as Putin is, we actually moved up on him. It'd be like if China started moving in states through, presence through Central America, El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico. We'd be like, dude, you promised. So there is an issue.
There's more to it than that. Ukraine got their independence from Russia in 1991. Russia and Ukraine made a deal to remove the nuclear silos from the Ukraine. In the meantime, in 2014, Russia tried to rig the election in the Ukraine with 2 candidates whose names started with a Y, and they also retook Crimea, and they overtook Crimea and took that back under Ukraine's nose, and Ukraine said, no, we're not going to go back under their rule, and we don't want them around. And Czechoslovakia.
The majority of the people in Ukraine are Russian. Hell, Nikita Khrushchev was Ukrainian. You got the Soros, he's a Ukrainian. No, Zelensky is a Ukrainian Jew.
No, Zelensky is a Jew. He's a Jew.
If you look at the history of warfare, Ukraine was always a highway into Russia.
I know.
Back beyond Napoleon.
Did you know in the 11th century that the Scandinavian Vikings even controlled the Ukraine for a while?
Well, yes, that's good. I ain't going back there like blacks like to go back in their time machine on slavery 400 years ago. What I'm saying is what Putin does or what Russia does, that's their business. Leave them alone. You're not going to make Russia do anything. Russia's got submarines there in the Atlantic that has enough power to disseminate the United States if they wanted, if the time ever came to be that. I tell you something you need to be worried about. It's a big ass asteroid the size of a northeastern state that's headed this way. What's in that?
I don't know, but I did read about it one day on Instagram. I just want to remind you guys, since World War,
it's supposed to miss us now and hit the moon.
And Russia never played nice. Even when Germany was broken up into 4 parts, Russia immediately did their surge and took over East Germany and closed it off from the other 3 allies. And they've been territorial expansionists ever since the 20s. They're very...
Well, the thing is about that, Jane, is nothing you can do with Russia but threaten it with sanctions, and then they can just go to India and China. If China and Russia were the combined forces, and also India, and they wanted to be billions, we'd be in trouble.
The Bible predicts that in the end time they're going to go after Israel. All three of them.
All these things. I'm worried about taxes. I want my taxes to stay in my bank. We need to do away with that Federal Reserve. The U.S. Treasury can do the job that they're doing, and we wouldn't have to pay them no $1 trillion in interest the way things are going now. That's totally ridiculous.
Well, he fired Lisa Cook, so that's a start. But as far as taxes, I mean, taxes is redistricting itself. It's gerrymandering. So I think taxes are going to be okay.
I don't think we should abolish all the traditional institutions like the Federal Reserve and the people who set the interest rates.
I think you should abolish the Federal Reserve because we don't need it. The U.S. Treasury can do those jobs.
Yeah, we didn't have it before.
And the lady who got fired from, I can't remember, the recent black lady who got fired from one of those tax boards. She did.
Lisa Cook.
Yeah, she did the same thing that every 1 out of 3 Americans do. They claimed.
Just like that?
They claimed. Wait, she claimed that one of her residents was a permanent resident, one was a vacation home, and 1 out of every 3 Americans do that to save money on interest rates.
Well, that's fraud, so they should get her for 34 felonies every month that she pays her.
Well, they should get it for the other.
Like Trump, every time she writes a check, it's fraud, it's a felony. And same thing with Letitia James and all of them, Adam Schiff, all these politicians who have property, just give them felonies.
And how about Donald Trump, who committed real estate fraud?
Well, they all
if they're committing real estate fraud, they should be jailed. Simple as that. How in the hell Letitia James is going to want to charge things on Trump, even before she's elected, for something that's going on in Florida? That New York doesn't have no jurisdiction in Florida.
Okay, I have to make an announcement, okay? I'm going to let you 3 end the show. Don, just don't talk about Vegas showgirls or anything. I got to go lay down. I'm not feeling good.
What's wrong with you?
I actually got a good report on my diabetes. My A1C went down from 11 to 8.1, but I'm having partial kidney failure and I don't drink.
You need RFK. You have to work out like RFK.
I have to start eating better and less carbs.
Yes,
They want to make Jane healthy again.
Okay. And I want to give an update on my son. He lives in Tempe and he made a TikTok video that he got fired from Walmart. And I guess it's a trend among young people that they're all making TikTok videos every time they get fired. It's almost like they're bragging.
They are.
But I accidentally commented in his messaging and he took the video down. So now I can't find him.
Oh, man. Well, you talk about that can be reversed, but you're going to have a lot of dedication and steadfastness in order to do it.
Can you get a job at Cracker Barrel?
There's a lot of Cracker Barrels in Georgia. I was thinking of getting a restaurant job for fun. Okay, now you guys can talk about yourselves. I just wanted Pianki to know I found my son.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 on the ice cream for $3.99.
I hear Pat's voice.
So take care of
Is the price of
get your diabetes under control.
I'm going to, but it's hard for me because I work overnight still and my body's off kilter.
Do you have high blood pressure?
Yes, I take lisinopril.
Oh, goodness.
Well, you don't need to go to bed. You better stay your ass awake so you can make sure you're home.
No, tell her she needs to get her blood pressure down. That will make her kidney function correctly.
I haven't taken my blood pressure pill for 3 days. I forgot it in the car.
Okay, why?
Because I'm negligent.
Do you see a nephrologist?
I have poor planning.
Okay, well, get your planning right. If you don't get your planning correct, your planning will take over you, and it's going to kill you.
Then
high
yeah.
blood pressure is a prerequisite to chronic kidney disease, and then you're diabetic. So all those things. If you get your blood pressure down, then your kidneys. Because what are you in stage 3 chronic kidney disease? What are you in?
I'm not. It's not a disease yet. It's just at risk. I can send you a screenshot of the. I just got my test results today.
Blood flow is the most critical thing to your health. I mean, outside of getting hit by a bus or cancer. So you gotta take the things that gets your blood flowing. Because if you die, I'm gonna have to host a show, and it's gonna be a Trump show. So you don't want that. So you want to get this under control.
My blood urea nitrogen is 1 milligram over normal, and my creatinine is 1.61, and it's supposed to be between 0.4 and 1. So my creatinine is way above the norm.
Right. So you're probably in a stage 2 or stage 3 chronic kidney disease. You just haven't been in a nephrologist yet. That's okay.
Well, if I die, Lauren gets my life insurance.
You keep on talking about killing yourself. That's what you're doing.
No, I'm not. I'm just talking about how I want my son to benefit from me being his mother.
What's going to be your legacy?
My 3 books on Amazon. My 3 books on Amazon that only John bought 1 copy of, and I've sold 90 copies.
All right, Pianki, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed about her, she always got a lot of issues.
For one thing, I don't deal with my issues. I avoid them.
Not good. They want to avoid you when they kill you.
But I do, Pianki, I go to
Probably need a husband with a heavy hand.
Pianki, I go to support. Oh, I have a funny topic today. A congressman got on Instagram and told Taylor Swift now that she's getting married, she has to submit to her husband.
James Comey has a hard-on for her. Like he talks about her, and he takes people to her concerts and pays for his relatives so they have tickets. And he's kind of using. I think because they're investigating him, so he's kind of trying to align the popular consensus that he's a good guy. You can't trust Trump. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out for him.
A female newscaster on NBC found out that Taylor was engaged, and she had a meltdown on national TV. She got so excited.
Wow. Whatever.
Okay. Do you guys want to end the show now? Because you're only talking about me, and that was not the idea. Just because Pat corrected me, so I'm going in my car now to get my med.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay,
she
you guys
used to look like ScarJo when she was younger, so I don't know. It's ScarJo, we got Sydney Sweeney, and we got Taylor Swift. Who do you date? What do you think?
ScarJo.
Who do you vote for?
Who's Scarlett, baby?
Scarlett Johansson. Oh, the Miss Avenger. So if you had to like date, or this got to be your partner, like is ScarJo, Sydney Sweeney, or Taylor Swift?
Who is Sydney Sweeney?
She did the Guess Jeans thing, and they were trying to trigger people. So she said, jeans. She's wearing blue jeans, right? And she's
Colin, you're in
all sexy
Neverland.
up, and she says like jeans determine, the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, and she's got blue eyes, and they zone in on her eyes and say, my jeans are blue. And immediately, after the audience took it like, oh, you're Nazi and you're into eugenics and white supremacy and blah blah blah. But the jean sales went up, the stock went up, and it's kind of like with Mulvaney when she endorsed Bud Light or whatever, and the sales crashed because people didn't want a woke, trans person promoting. In this case, she's promoting all American. It's a guy that's now dressed like a girl, and she's not there's some pretty trans. There are some pretty trans out there, but not her, not so much. But with Sydney Sweeney's kind of your typical all-American, curvy blonde. She's doing the commercials with a Mustang with a hood up, and she's puts the hood down, and she's walking all sexy. So it's triggering. And what happened is Beyonce did it, and Lizzo, and a few other people, especially the ones who weren't in shit, are doing their own little thing with jeans on, and and counter.
We're gonna have male cheerleaders at the NFL game. They're gonna be.
Oh yeah, Minnesota. That's right. They got
Minnesota has they're gonna have a series of shows with Taylor Swift during their football games, and they also hired 2 male cheerleaders that I can't tell if they're gay. But Don, you're really out of the loop if you don't know who Sydney Sweeney is. She's been all over the news.
Yeah, they're gay.
No, they discovered she's a Trumpster, and now there's a bunch of retribution on her.
I'm talking about the cheerleader.
No, I'm talking about 2 things. First, I'm yelling at you for not knowing pop news. And
Who the fuck is Thursday?
I said Sydney Sweeney has been all over the news for being a Trumpster. And she has a jean ad out. Now,
The thing you better watch out for is Trump coin and Trump bit and Trump PayPal, and he's getting all money from
crypto. Yeah.
From being the president, and all that's illegal. He should not be able to.
You're right.
Being the president.
Okay, I'm going to get my pill. I'll be right back.
So you're not getting any Trump orange crypto or gold? It's the golden age, right? We're entering.
Yeah, but you got to understand, everything he touches, he bankrupts. He's Richard. He's one of those people back in the 70s who would take over companies, take everything out of it, and then go bankrupt with it.
Well, here's a question, Doug, to that, because I understand that reasoning. So here's the thing. He's 79 years old, right? And he started 30, 40 years ago. So let's see. He's been president twice, even with the 34 felony thing. He owns businesses all over the world. So he's a failure. It's like, boy, I think I want to be a failure. Like, isn't it like someone saying, boy, you're a loser, you're a loser? He's like, he's the most powerful man in the world, and his empire actually gets bigger, but you're saying everything he touches turns to crap. So I find a little redundancy in that. I kind of would like to be a piece of trash like that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's quote
most powerful man in the world, right?
34 felonies
What
based
a
on
failure.
criminality.
Businesses. If you made 22 businesses and 13 of them go bankrupt, then you're a failure.
Well, I
no,
go to
it's not bankrupt. It depends on, he had some businesses that they were dependent on the local community, the city, to do something. They never did do it. So what else is there to do? Bankruptcy is allowed under the U.S. Constitution. And it's 34 felonies. They was based on being liable, not criminally.
I know that
he still brags that he has more felonies than Alphonse Capone. That's what he says.
That's all right.
Here's the quote.
That's all right.
he's a bad boy. He's a bad boy.
When I banked that $30,000, when you bank that $30,000 in standardized deduction, you're not gonna think about that.
I'm not worried about the money. That's the whole part, Pianki. My family, the humanity is more important than the money.
You can't control. You can't control humanity.
I can't take my money to heaven, but my legacy can live on forever.
When you go to the pearly gates of heaven and look beyond, you're gonna see Trump Towers.
Yeah, Trump Towers burning because he's going to hell. I'm going to heaven. So I'm good with that.
Have you been to Mar-a-Lago, Don? I mean, or Vegas? Don't they have Trump?
It's a Nazi 1950s mobster dump. The place has so much stuff. They said it has clutter. It's the decor is so old and faded. Okay, what about it?
It was supposed to be the second White House, right? And the government was sold it, and Trump bought it. But in Las Vegas, isn't there like a Trump big old building there? Hasn't it always been there?
You got Trump Towers. It's all in gold.
How can you have a place for because I remember that thing, I don't know, in the 90s or whatever. How can it be around for 30, 40 years and he's a loser?
Because
in
he's
Vegas.
using illegal alien. He's using illegal immigrants as his employees.
Probably.
So he's taking all the money and then he's telling you guys they're bad people. He made all his money on Mar-a-Lago and Trump Towers on illegal alien workers.
Well, at least he didn't.
You're blind. At least
he didn't bang the maid like Arnold.
Oh, yes, he did. He banged all those maids. What are you talking about?
He's got a bunch of little Baron Trumps running around there.
Oh, man, Espanol.
Listen, that ain't got nothing to do with his responsibility as president of the United States. He's a godsend.
Yeah, you're damn right. That's why Epstein was killed. Trump killed him. Because he's damn
I don't know anything about Epstein. Going to Epstein's Island was not illegal.
But eating some kids was.
Didn't he throw him out of Mar-a-Lago?
How do we know that, though? You don't know that.
Oh, he didn't fly over there. He did do a lot of flights.
John.
He did a lot of flights. He did about 67 flights from Jersey to New York, or Florida, that kind of thing. He didn't go overseas. But didn't he throw him out of Mar-a-Lago 2004, right around there, and that was it. And then he
know that. Well, people that went to his island it wasn't a crime. Now there's some activity. And the island wasn't even in the U.S. Was that in international waters?
Yeah.
Well, that's Clinton's. Clinton's loved to go there.
Yeah, the Clintons were there all the time.
And New Mexico, he loved the New Mexico, the eugenics ranch. That's where they were. They vacationed up until 2017 when he got arrested around at 2018, 2017, right around there.
Yeah.
The guy had to stop their romance. But, Bill is the best. I mean, Virginia Guffrey, they have pictures of him, she's giving him a massage, and he gave a story about it. He said, could you rub my back? And she said, I can do it a little lower, and the whole plane busted out laughing.
And Guffrey's dead, and Clinton, I know.
Oh, she suicided herself, after getting hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Well, why come Clinton is not Clinton? Why come Obama's daughters changed their name?
Oh, they did?
I didn't know they did.
Yeah, the one did. The oldest one changed her last name.
Well, she's worth $70 million. So
did she change it to Kinte or something? Kunta Kinte. Natasha Kinte.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
Jabbar. Kareem, right? She changed it to Alcindor.
Nah, she wouldn't do that because that's nothing.
Jamal Wilkes. Remember Jamal Wilkes?
Nobody wants a white name. Just
oh man. You don't want no slave owner name?
Oh hell no! Give me Oswana Swan or something like that. That's forget Don Gallimore. That's a fucking white government. be X or Z or Y, or it's going to be something.
Well, but how do you know that your relatives weren't like the original slave traders? Like they were actually, you know, they grabbed your own family members and sent them over to America.
They could have, because I remember in my dreams I come from kings and kingdoms. So it would have been my family that sold some of the slaves. I know that it probably wouldn't have been voluntary, and I would, as king, I know I didn't open my gates for these people to come in just because they offered some gold and trinkets and all this.
Right. Do you think Obama came from Kenya?
No.
Yeah, he came from.
You did say, you know, my people.
His dad did.
He said the first person from Kenya to be president of the United States. He said that to Kenya.
Yeah, well, he is the first person from Kenya. Some information coming out where
He's a descendant.
But he spent most of his time, or a lot of his time, between Thailand and Hawaii. So he was in the Muslim mosque. That's where he grew up in his childhood from like 3 to 8 or 9. So he's completely Muslim.
His mother was a Protestant.
Yeah, but his childhood was in.
His dad only lived in the U.S. His dad only lived. His dad only lived in the U.S. until he was 2 or 3. You guys are full of crap.
Oh, it wasn't crap.
Well, it depends on which hole you're taking it in.
Okay, you know what?
A lot of mayonnaise. How about that?
Right now.